These slides on business and military planning, I hope, start a debate so that we can get a richer view of the differences and the similarities. Now, business and military processes have many common features, all of which come down to a few simple things. The main thing is how they carry out the planning process. Now, strategy is usually, there's different types of strategy, but I'm not going to focus on types of strategy or types of tactics. I'm just going to focus on broad definitions. In business, it's the art and science of ways in which an organization plans to position itself and achieve its goals. Military-wise, it's the science and art of developing and using political, economic, and psychological powers of a nation, together with its armed forces during peace and war, to secure its objectives. Now, if you think about tactics, in business, it's finding customers and then selling to them so that you achieve your objectives in a particular situation using various channels. In military-wise, it's concerned with the method of disposition of troops and other military assets, arms, ships, psychological warfare, AI, and the execution of movements for attack or defense. But you can see the similarities quite clearly. Business is about various ways of gaining value. For example, you can generate value by charging for intelligence, insights into where to buy cheap and how to sell dear. Primark is an example. They have it made abroad and they sell it here where they know people will pay more. Charging for scarce resources, oil, gold, food, branding, inheritance. For example, the reason why your petrol costs more is because it's in a few localized places and they can charge for extraction, shipment, so on. Charging for talent. Football players charge for talent. Boxers charge for talent, and lots of other sports. Or it could be a singer or an artist or an educator because they've got some innate ability. So that's where the business value comes from. In war, you've got intelligence, knowledge of your position, data, maybe the psychology of the leaders, and research that governs how you put things together. Then you've got resources, the best use of scarce resources given strategy and the limitations that you face. The execution is soldiers and weapons to deliver the results according to a set plan. Now, if you think about military planning and go back to the things that we mentioned, it's based around intelligence, capabilities, setting objectives, executing those objectives, and then looking at the outcomes and learning from them. They're all determined by a group of leaders. So that is how military planning is done. Business planning is similar in the sense that you have identified a problem, you've identified the size of the problem, hence the market, you've identified a solution and how that solution addresses the problem, and then the operations, how will you deliver your solution to that market, the impacts it will have, good or bad, and how you measure them, and obviously it's all managed by your team, your management team. Now there's different aspects you have to think about, but essentially that's what it comes to. So you can see how similar they are. The important difference is that a general has resources given and allocated to them. They don't have to find them, generally. A business person must find them and pitch for them. A general, like an MBA graduate, only works in large organizations because they don't have the skill sets to work in smaller organizations. A business person may not have the training in HR, may not have the skills, may not know how to expand the business, but they can take people on. Scaling up is harder in business than in war, because in business you've got to do it yourself. In war, your rank gives you that scaling up process. That means that a business person is only accountable to themselves and takes all the risks and the rewards. So those are some of the huge differences between the two. Now, the precondition for a leader in both situations is that you need vision, a sense of direction. Then you need to know what your mission is to achieve that vision. You've got to have the mental drive, risk-taking, and timing. And those 5 factors are critical. Anything new? Yes and no. The new thing is the fact that technology is always changing. The no thing is that human nature doesn't change. I'll give you just 2 examples. Asymmetric warfare. This is a term that's been coined about 30-40 years ago between war that is not always fought by 2 armies head on. It's as old as time, from Ramses of Egypt using blitzkrieg to Genghis Khan or Richard I using terror or information and propaganda. Only the tech has changed. But think about this. This form of warfare, battle between a giant or a dinosaur and a very agile player, has been going on in business forever. New technologies, new ideas, and somehow the old dinosaurs always get beaten. Innovation, invention are the core of that kind of battleground. War of ideas, extremism versus liberalism, religion or secular, Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. So you can see how actually things change. My takeaways: listen to the jargon peddlers, but understand the issues beyond the jargon. In other words, know your stuff. Takeaway 2, both professions require vision, determination and confidence. You have to ask yourself, do you have the mental stamina to be a George Washington, Cyrus, Giap, Attila, Bezos, Branson or a Steve Jobs? Do you have it? Takeaway 3, all businesses is war, but without the killing. Thank you for listening. Hopefully it stimulates some debate. If you've got any information, or if you want to take matters further, or if you've got any other suggestions, please drop me a line. My email is down below.